Hey, so I want to talk about something. I've been doing some fun videos on The Witcher lately. I know that doesn't exactly draw the audience that I have built up. But I want to talk about something a little bit more serious, theologically speaking. And it's going to kind of bleed into the reason why this is not an apologetics channel. So for a brief history for my new subscribers, as I have a lot of new subscribers recently, this channel was originally just going to be an archive for when I was a fighter. I had uploaded, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 fights onto this channel. I then got a little aggressive in one particular fight, and I was worried about lawsuits, so I erased all the fights but one and only used my channel to, watch things on YouTube. A few years after that, I talked to the fighter that I had fought at that time, and they were looking for that video because they wanted to see the fight, and I had to inform them that I deleted it. So I decided at that point to start uploading martial arts videos to this channel. That went well until it didn't. The first great shadow banning happened, and that was it for my channel. So since my channel wasn't showing up on people's feeds, even people that were subscribed to me, even friends and students who would use my channel as a resource, I'd go to their house and try to look at my channel and you couldn't find it. I decided to just start talking about anything. And when I guessed it on someone else's channel, the fact that I'm Catholic came up, and we started talking about Catholic stuff. And as I started changing my channel to more of a book review channel, a lot of fun books, what was cool and trendy at the time, actually. And then I was like, they asked me, hey, that's a great review, what are you going to do next? And I'm like, I'm going to review the Bible, thinking that's like something you can just do. And at the exact same time, I was also converting is the wrong word, because I was already baptized Catholic as a baby, but I was entering the church as an adult at 33, and I became Catholic. I was confirmed, and I just started talking about my theories and stuff as I was reading. Again, I was shadow banned, so I wasn't expecting an audience at all. And one of my videos went viral at the then much more aggressive, much more edgy anti-theist YouTube at the time. Most of these people have been banned and kicked out of YouTube since then, but they were the big dogs. They were the top guys on YouTube, and at least on the atheist scene. And now they're in Parler and some other, more free speech friendly sites. Anyway, so that happened, and then my channel's focus shifted to philosophy and theology. But in my examination of the Bible and my examination of the Quran, which the Quran series was also another very popular series, so I was not looking at it through a religious lens or through a Catholic lens. I was looking at the Bible and the Quran and the Book of Mormon and the Tao Te Ching and all this kind of stuff. I was looking at it through a philosophical and literary lens, and sometimes adding a little bit of historical context to it. Then the Jordan Peterson thing happened, then another shadow banning, and so on and so forth. The history of YouTube. But recently, in the last few years, as my faith has grown and my understanding of classical theology has grown, both giving me a stronger respect for the Reformers and for Protestantism, and a much more enriched, a much deeper love for the Church Fathers. Right now I'm reading Origen. I've read the ancient Church Fathers and the collections and the early Church Father collections, and now I'm into not really the medieval area, because I'm still in the 200s to 300s, maybe 400s, because I'm doing some John Christensen as well. Really love John Christensen, really love Origen. I've changed my view on the soul, or on human nature. So I used to view human nature as being tripart, or triune nature, I should say. And it was really good for when I was debating Eastern Orthodox, who they view God through the essence, energies, distinctions. And it was really good when I was talking to Muslims. Like I said, one of my most popular series on here is the Quran, is me reading the Quran. So when speaking to them about the Trinity, it was good to use the triune form of human nature, mind, body, and soul. There's a line in Ephesus that backs this up. It forms really well with, or it conforms really well when trying to explain the Trinity. Our mind, breath, word, right hand, left hand, mind. These kind of Trinitarian analogies, right? One body, one being, several natures, that kind of thing. 3 natures to be exact. But like I said, I've been reading a lot of John Christensen, and I've been reading a lot of Origen, and right now I'm reading on First Principles. He's at the beginning. He's doing speculative theology, and he's the first one that's really doing it in a Christian sense. So, his interpretation of the Bible is unparalleled. It's tremendously important. I'm saying that because I was having an argument with someone who is of the prosperity gospel type. He is a speak it, manifest it type, gospel of grace or whatever, once saved, always saved. A lot of stuff that as traditional Christians, Orthodox, you just really wouldn't be okay with. 1 or 2 of them, and you're still in mainline Protestantism. You get 3 or 4 of them all batched together, and you're no longer even an evangelical. I say that because as I was arguing with him about the nature of man and explaining to him the Trinity and the hypostatic union and the 2 natures of Jesus, divine and human, I found myself no longer explaining human nature as triune, because, well, let me move on, and not even as duality, as a dual nature, meaning divine and human, or divine and animal. A lot of Protestants have that view. A lot of Protestants have a Gnostic influence view where they view the body as dirty rags, as filth, as dung, and they view the soul as the pure, good thing that goes back to God. Okay. That impugned righteousness thing that Catholics don't really hold to, that we believe people are good. Okay. But Catholics also believe that people are one. We have a unity with the body. We share this belief with Orthodox Christianity. We share this belief with Eastern Orthodox Christianity, I should say. We share this belief with Judaism. And that's that the body and the soul are one composite being. Now that's important for Christology, because if human nature is divided into 3 natures, and Jesus is 2 natures, you now have 5 natures. If you are a dualist, and Jesus is 2 natures, and the human nature is 2 natures, and Jesus as God is triune, again you get back to 5. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Even if you narrow it down to only 3 natures within, it's 2 natures that are separate, or at least 1 nature that is separate from God, none of that works. It gets really too complicated, and it dilutes who God is and who Jesus is, the union of man and God. So human nature has to be 1 nature, so that way Jesus can be 2 natures, so that way we can understand God in a triune nature. So I've come to the conclusion that the Catholic Church already held, that human nature is singular, is uninature, uni-natured, which I find that really interesting that my belief had shifted in the last year. Because even late last year, I would still describe myself as thinking of human nature as being trifold, as having an animal nature, a human nature, and a divine nature. I don't believe that anymore, and that's an interesting thing. But that's my willingness to change my ideas and my beliefs is why this is not a Catholic channel, is why I view Scripture, and when I'm reading anything from the Bhagavad Gita to the Upanishads to the Elder Edda, I'm always looking at it through a philosophical and literary lens. Because regardless of my personal beliefs at the time of when I'm reading it, I don't know what my beliefs are going to be in the future. I am open to being corrected if I'm wrong, and I'm open to changing my mind as I understand more things. And like I said, my mind has been changed on many things over the last, I don't know how long I've been doing this now, 6 years. Let's say 5 years. 5 years of doing theology on this channel. I went from being a very liberal Christian, a very liberation theology-centered Catholic, to a much more conservative traditional Catholic submitting to tradition through reading the Church Fathers. The Didache was very powerful in that. The Shepherd of Hermas was very powerful in that. Reading not just the early Church Fathers, but reading John Christensen's commentary on Genesis was very formational. So I've had many views changed on whether it's abortion, human sexuality. So from abortion to human sexuality to now human nature, these views have changed, and the human nature one changed in this last year just by diving heavier or deeper into the writings of John Chrysostom and into the writings of Origen, and the tension between them, between the Antiochian and Alexandrian schools. So that's interesting, because I'm no stranger to the Bible. I've read the Bible a lot. I've read the Missal. I've read, I'm very familiar with a lot of commentaries, modern commentaries on the Bible, and yet reading the ancient church fathers pulls me and conforms me more and more with orthodoxy and tradition. And I'm very grateful for that gift that God has given me, and given me the ability not only to afford to purchase these books that are very expensive. These are not $20 books. These are $60, $70, $80, $120 books. And given me the intellectual prowess to be able to understand them. I don't have a doctorate degree. I don't have a master's. I have an associate's in philosophy. And I made some mistakes in my life that means that I've stayed at that level of education in my diplomas. I haven't moved forward from that. But I've read. Intellectually, I've read and challenged myself a lot over the last so many years. So I'm grateful to God for that. And I just want to say also thank you to all of you who are still listening. If you're still listening to this, we're at the 15-minute point. This is where I'm going to cut off the video. Thank you for watching and listening to my channel. Thank you for subscribing. If you share it, thank you for sharing it. Thank you for commenting. And this has been a great journey, a great growth. And I really appreciate you coming along with me and listening to my views change over time and to me develop in my belief system.